Hey, what's up guys, it's me David, Laugh Now Die Later, and in this video I'm going to be telling you guys one of my favorite hot takes that I have based on my favorite series, or one of, and that is Death Note. Now if you can tell by the title, that is my hot take for this video, and before we get into that, I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit of background when it comes to Death Note and me personally. Now when I started collecting manga almost a year ago to this date, on July 27th of 2020, during COVID season, I ordered the box set for Death Note that was on Amazon for about 70 to 80 bucks at the time. And I ended up buying it, reading this without any prior knowledge. Now, this is important, okay? I read this without any prior knowledge, without anyone spoiling anything, because at the time I wasn't on Discord, I wasn't on any Twitter, I wasn't on YouTube really for anime or manga. Like, I wasn't on anything. It was just pure. I remember reading manga as a kid because in school we used to always talk about Dragon Ball and everything, but I never went into any other manga besides like Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, which I used to watch the anime on TV. So Death Note, I knew about the name and I knew roughly what it was about, but I didn't get spoiled on anything. So when I went into Death Note, being my first manga and me wanting to really get into it, I didn't see anything wrong with this series, especially with what I'm about to talk about when it comes to the hot takes. I have a few points to make, not too crazy. I'm not going to be getting into detail about scenes and everything because you guys all know me. I forget things easily. It's been a year. I've read so many things since then, but I will talk about little things of how the series made me feel throughout reading, because one thing I want to mention is that when it comes to me, a way a manga or an anime makes me feel really is memorable rather than certain moments. Like, I tend to remember how an anime or manga make me feel more than certain moments that happen or character names or stuff like that. Like, I feel like I remember it more when the emotions are memorable. And Death Note is the first series that I've read completely, and it was the first series to also make me feel like a certain way about what happens in the story, and just a roller coaster of emotions for me, and it was just amazing, just an amazing read. Now, real quick, if you guys haven't watched or read Death Note and you don't want to get spoiled, please click off, come back when you guys have, and if you don't mind spoilers, then welcome to the video and enjoy it, hopefully. So I'm gonna be talking about really quick what I think about the first half. I do believe the first half of Death Note is better than the second half, but from the people that I've met that say the second half is so bad that it brings Death Note to a rating of 7.5 for them, I think is crazy. Now, you are 100% alright with rating Death Note 7.58. I don't care. Like, it's your opinion, right? So I'm not trying to refute against anyone. I'm just telling you what I think. Again, this video is going to be subjective as hell. It's my opinion, and hopefully you guys respect it, and let me know your opinion of Death Note and of my hot take and what you think. I could be wrong to you. That's fine. You know, just put it down in the comment section down below. Now, for the first half, when L was in the series, I think was one of the best rivalries that I've ever read, besides the one in Bakuman. I'm terrible with the names, and I remember them, but I'm going to pronounce them wrong, so Dicehead could let you know in the comment section down below. I'm just kidding, but because he loves that. But L and Light is probably one of my favorite rivalries of all time, and I think that they really are the definition of a psychological battle shonen, or even take psychological out. They're just the definition of battle shonen. The way they use their wits to try to outsmart each other and beat each other, and when you have L trying to convince the world that, or try to sneak up and convince the world that Light is Kira and try to accuse him, and then you have Light trying to go against L and be like, listen, I'm not Kira, let's try to find Kira, and tricking him, and then, you know, things working to his advantage, like the second Kira, and Light was trying to use that as an advantage to be like, that's not a second Kira, you know, but then he tries to say it is because he's trying to fit in with the cops. It's just so much, and it's just reading this series, that first half was so awesome. That dynamic of that rivalry was amazing, and it made me feel like, wow, I've never read a rivalry like this ever. So it was really really a great read and emotion that it gave me. The second thing is the ending of that first half, when it came to like the whole L arc, I guess you can say, or storyline, is the fact that he left me so shocked from his death that I wasn't expecting it at all. Like, to me, again, with no prior knowledge, I expected L to be in the series to the very end. I expected him to be the one to defeat Light. He was who I wanted to beat Light, okay? And the fact that he didn't even make it past halfway with the series was mind-boggling to me because I liked him so much. But I was not one of those people that got mad about him dying or nothing. I actually was excited because I wanted to see how the mangakas could change the dynamic and who they could bring to try to defeat Light. Because up to L's death, I was totally on board with L defeating Light, right? And now moving into the second half dynamic, you have Near and Mello, who in my opinion are basically like, if you mix them together, right, they kind of make up L in a way. So it was kind of like L died and he split into two, because Near was the smarter one, Near was the more calculated one, just like L was. And you have Mello, who was more of the risk taker. He wanted to be hands-on. And don't forget, L was a risk taker too. He did things like show up to school with Light. He went to school with Light. He handcuffed himself to Light. I mean, he suspected Light a lot and just did things and took risks when it came into their investigations and everything, that really L was a risk taker, you know? And Mello had that side of him without as much smarts as Near, and Near was the more calculated individual, and all of that. So that's why I really like them still, because they still represented L in my opinion. They came from the same orphanage, I guess it was, and it just reminded me so much of L. So L's spirit and his drive to try to defeat and find Kira were still there in Near and Mello. So that's why I still liked it. I expected Light though to come out victorious reading the second half, because I didn't feel as connected to Near and Mello as I did L. Not saying I didn't like them. I did like them. As you can see, that's why the title of this video is saying I believe that Death Note did not die with L. But they weren't, you know, I didn't expect them to beat Light. Especially after I met them. When I found out there was two of them going after Light, I was like, okay, he's going to have some trouble. But then Light did his thing, especially with Mello and all that. And you guys know what I'm talking about with that truck scene with the girl from the from the news. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. So Light, I expected him to come out victorious at the end, because I was like, they're not L, so they're not going to be able to reach that level that L should have, right? But they did. And that was what amazed me the most, was how they beat Light. And I wasn't expecting them to, but the person I expected to beat him lost. And I don't know, I really liked that dynamic. I loved how they killed L off early. Would I have liked for L to be there to the very end and get that kind of like satisfaction of L beating Light? Of course. But was I mad that he died? No, I was actually excited because it added another dynamic to the story that I was not expecting. Especially that I didn't have any prior knowledge to this series, you know? So that's what I really liked about it. And that was pretty much my hot take about that. I just feel like it doesn't die with L, because you still get L's spirit with Near and Mello, just in different ways. And they have little tidbits each of L. Mello's the risk taker. Near takes risks too, but he's the more calculated one. And also the dynamic of Light in the story changed for me from the first half to the second. So that's why I think it doesn't die with L. I think it continues to live on until the very end of the story. But even like Kira lives on after the end of the story, if you know what I mean. So that's pretty much it. I do want to say one more thing though, is I do love the foreshadowing of how Light does die, because if you remember, Ryuk told him in the beginning that he will be the one to write his name in the Death Note, right? And Light kind of laughed it off, and so did I. I laughed it off. I didn't really take him seriously, you know? And then at the end, who wrote Light's name in the Death Note? My man's Ryuk. And I found that to be such great foreshadowing, and I loved it so much. And I love Death Note so much. Let me know what you guys think of Death Note in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of this hot take. I know I didn't like support it with a lot of like details in this, but that's just my opinion. I think it keeps living on through, because L keeps living on in spirit, through Near and Mello, and just the whole dynamic that the story changes was amazing to me. And this will always be one of my favorite series of all time, and I definitely recommend anybody to read it, because this was like, for me, I feel like maybe there was one before, but I feel like this was the shonen that made battle shonen have different elements. Because before it was like battle shonen like Naruto and all of this, but this shonen added psychological battle to the battle shonen genre even more. So I just really love this, and if you guys haven't, check Death Note out. And I'm back. All right, Laugh Now Die Later is back. Hopefully you guys like all this new revamp stuff, the new thumbnail style, the new profile picture, the new banner. If you do, leave a like, comment what you guys think about Death Note, give me your opinion on the hot take, and just hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, again, like, and if you're new, subscribe. We're close to hitting 300 subscribers. I'm really excited, guys. We're only going up from here. This break really helped me read a lot and get my mind off of stress and everything. So I really do appreciate you guys for sticking with me throughout this month and a half long journey. And yeah, we're back. So let's get it. So this was Laugh Now Die Later, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.